What is going on, everybody? It's your friend Will. We are back. This is the Memory Lapse, and trying a new one this morning. Another Adrian Sullivan list. I don't think he took this to an event or anything. Perhaps he played it on stream, but I know someone in the Game Podcast Discord posted that they climbed out of gold with this. It looks quite the mess. I gotta say, on paper, I don't know how we're going to beat mono red outside of a really good on Serra's Wings draw. But there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. It's essentially a green-black ramp deck, or maybe it's a green-white ramp deck splashing black for like one Vraska's Contempt, Underrealm Lich, and Vraska. So another deck that is a little bit, well, I mean, we've got at least two of the dual lands. Isolated Chapel would, of course, help, though not as important because it doesn't help us cast an early Llanowar Elves, so maybe mono-wise will be okay. 4 treasure map seems like a lot. Very hard on the ramp, though. We're even playing Elfish Rejuvenator. And let's just give this a shot. This looks very fun and different. So let's see how it goes. So yeah, this is volume 4, the 4th installment of our Diamond in the Rough series, where we're taking different decks, weirder decks, not necessarily as competitive decks, and giving them a try. See what's possible, see what's out there. We actually clicked up a fair amount in this series, way more than I expected. So far it's been a good investment. Alright, so I think we're keeping here Elf into Rejuve into Carnage Tyrant. Or even it's just Elf Rejuve Carnage Tyrant might be how we get to play it here. I love this card. I would love if this was a competitive card. No, the Fun Police show up right away in game 1. We have the double black for the Vraska's Contempt. That's nice. Wow, no play from them is a relief. If we can get to Carnage Tyrant, we might be okay. Let's take our second white source. Even if we get Chain Whirler, yeah, this is fine. At least we got value out of this. The second one can block. And just tapped, please. Alright, so now we're just on the Carnage Tyrant and removal plan. And we can cast anything we draw. So we might actually be okay here. Block. Just want to preserve our life total. And this is such a liability anyways. This tells me that they have a burn heavy hand or they have a frenzy. Yeah, I think we just need to start drawing here. The second risk factor. Huh. I think we'll go to 7 on this one. Pretty much if we find any... If we find an on Serra's Wings, we win, right? So, just dig to that. We can't take another 4. And they found the frenzy. It's good for them. We'll have to Contempt this Steamkin away. Post haste. Yeah. Although now we get to give them the cards quite, like, Yeah, so that was, of course, a 6 Steamkin turn where they got a ton of damage off the top of their deck they could cast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why not 10? We kind of need 10 here. I guess we're more likely to die to the Frenzy. Actually, if we play this the right way, okay, so we can go. Alright, so first things first. We don't need the Lich. On Serra's Wings. They have to give us Vivien here. Vivien makes the decision a little bit easier, I guess, but I think we want to develop. Yeah, no, the Vivien makes it easier. Take away their Frenzy. We have Contempt. So if they go for this, oh, they're going for that here. Yeah, maybe this means they have 3 on top. Or 3 in hand. Oh. A little bit of a heartbreaker there, because we know next turn we could have just taken the on Serra's Wings and we would have gained 9. But this is a matchup I almost never expect to win. Just looks like the way the deck is set up, you're really all in on gaining that chunk of life, and their deck is not going to give you a lot of time to do it. There's a treasure map into Brontodon. Seems reasonable enough. More fun police here, maybe. No 1-drop though. Yep. Let's get the blocker down. Stopping the upkeep. No, I guess we don't want to stop in the upkeep. So if we just draw land here, we're slamming on Serra's Wings and going for it. Okay, well, of course we're going to miss. No Chain Whirler, at least. From here, we just want to draw straight land. So you go like on Serra's Wings, Underrealm Lich, find Finality. I mean, actually, we don't even need the Lich in that situation, but. Oh, they just have the draw. We had a reasonable shot this game, but look at this draw. We miss land drop, and they just have their best possible hand, more or less. We can't block. We need to preserve this. Hopefully they don't just like play thank goodness. This is risky, because if they have that 2 pieces of burn, we're in trouble, but I think we just have to go for it. Really? Alright. Risk factor. take the damage. This is. I'm trying to think of in all the red deck games we played if we ever had draws like this, and we probably only ever had one. But it just feels like every time we play against this deck, they have some like double Steamkin shenanigans. So if I go to 4, I gain up to 8. I think we would take action again. We can't let them draw a double burn. Because now I block and I get to go up to 12. If we win, if we draw land next turn. So if they have 3 damage in hand, it doesn't matter where I block. If they have 2 damage in hand, this would go to 4. This would go to 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I guess if I block here, if they have 2 burn spells, I think they would have just used them on the Brontodon and attacked for the win, and not done this. So here, if they have 3 damage in hand, yeah, 7, 3 plus 7, 3 plus 4 is 7, plus another 3 is 10, yeah. Oh, wait, 12. You could block like that then. We risk losing the Brontodon, but we still gain damage, or we still gain life in the process. Yeah. Oh, they drew it. Land? No, we're not going to be lucky. We don't have a second black source. Jeez. Yeah, if we just run land here, we wrath the board, we're fine. But yeah, we're going to miss it. We just concede. Yeah, there's 2 games where we played red deck. Well, we played red deck both times, which has got to be our worst matchup. But both of those games were super winnable if we had just drawn a little bit better, or if our opponent's deck had not just presented them the absolute best draw. I guess I should have blocked the biggest one. The biggest one rewards them if they had just a 2 damage spell around the play. As long as we're not playing against a Chain Whirler deck, we can actually ramp up. So, as long as this is not the 3rd consecutive Chain Whirler deck, we can see if we can do anything fun in this game. We should be able to get to Vivien Reid before the Chain Whirler pops, even. So the question is that good enough? Alright. Might be good enough. We do, of course, need to draw land. This is not, I don't think this is like a 26 land deck. This is like a 23 land deck, so our expectation is not to always hit that 3rd one when we keep 2. And the Shufflers, it's in a weird spot where it's going to give us 2 more often than 3. But as long as we have ramp creatures, it should be okay in general. Although you kind of wonder, given how aggro-centric Arena's been the last couple of days in Diamond, if these treasure maps are at all playable in any fashion. If they were just lands, we'd be in such a better position. I think the play is like just to make a blocker here. Try to keep the board. But I can see that if you're in a diverse format where you're not just going to be playing against a deck that's vomiting creatures and burn spells at you every turn, the treasure maps are like 100% necessary in this deck, because you can't just rely on planeswalkers to be your only source of draw. They're too unreliable. The treasure map, it's something you can sneak down, use it to ramp, use it to draw in the mid game, but these decks just never give you time to even play them and activate it. So it's quite a dead draw, I think, in a lot of the latter scenarios. Cool. We'll take the block here. Yeah, I mean, Vivien Reid's not even good anymore. Drew another blank. Right, I guess we're going to figure out... Well, we might have to put a cap on how many we play with this deck because it seems so badly positioned against these aggressive decks. Like, this Vivien Reid would have been okay on turn 3 if we had drawn the land, but now that they have this history, like, it's just unplayable. We're never going to be able to protect it. And we can't afford to tap all 3 of our creatures just to put a Planeswalker in play that's going to do nothing. So now we're on Finality or Bust. So the question is if we played Lich this turn... Wow, I'm surprised they took that since we're never going to activate it this game. Alright, so we just lost. So we're just dead next turn. Oh, this is a mana screw game. Alright, so this is by far the worst deck we've picked up in terms of the number of losses we've taken in a row, and at least one of the games or 2 of the games were kind of close. The red deck games were kind of close. That game was not close. So maybe I'm being overly pessimistic. Yeah. I guess we should actually try to keep this, because if we draw any creature, we might be in an okay spot. And the Carnage Tyrant might be good. Alright, so we're against one of these decks. Well, they didn't duress us, which is mighty kind of them. Disinformation campaign. Now they're going to duress us, though. The turn before we can play Carnage Tyrant, and they're going to duress us and take it away. It is written. %. Wow. We even have a little backup coverage here for it from Elves Reborn next turn. Oh, if they had done that on their turn, we would have been off the ramp for Carnage Tyrant. You got it. So I think we're just playing Vivien and plussing. Get a black source. Alright, we're kind of in the driver's seat of this game. There's the thought erasure, but it's a little late. We don't need this to win. Most likely we don't. They can make us discard our Rejuvenator, but we have a Vivien. That's just going to keep plussing and getting us cards. Like another Carnage Tyrant. I guess the only thing we have to be worried about is our main deck Star of Extinction. We have not seen that in some time. I don't think I've seen a Star of Extinction at all in the ranked ladder. And they're so far from casting it, even if they do have one. Yeah, there's just not much they can find here. Alright, well, we finally got one off the back of Carnage Tyrant. Some quest progress here. So close to 120. Maybe we can squeeze up to 130. That would let us buy 120 packs and leave us with a 10k gold buff to start playing best of 3 events again if we want to do that. Alright. We have unplayable treasure map. The uncastable cards. No 1-drop though. Kind opponent. Alright, so they did have a 1-drop. So we have the ace here. Their hand is weird. They must have a frenzy. Yeah, their hand's very weird. We can't afford to try to play the On-Serra's Wings into like a shock. If they were disciplined and held back the Chain Whirler, I'd be a little surprised because it's a little too good just to play it last turn and start attacking. Like you want to be able to attack. Of course, they could draw it right now. Only a Steamkin. All right. Like this, we take this. Let's just play Vraska. Let's just play Finality. I think we're just plussing. Not the actual worst target in the deck for an On-Serra's Wings. These are the worst target in the deck for it. And if they get low enough on land, we can think about it. We can also potentially just kill them with a Vraska -10 instead of stopping the upkeep here. I think we're not likely to play Finality this turn, so we can get a little scry in the upkeep. Carnage Tyrant's pretty good. Good enough that I think I would do destroy your Steamkin, get a token, play Carnage Tyrant, and then as long as we survive this turn, which is maybe an if, we get 8. Gain 8. We actually finally win one against red. Okay, so we should win from here. especially if we just like destroy the frenzy. Yep. Going to 15. They can't win. Yeah, so they just kept a hand that was like weirdly all burn with a frenzy. But it looks like they delayed playing the frenzy a turn, or did they miss a land drop? I'm not quite sure. Or maybe we were just up a land drop because of the Rejuvenator. It feels like, I don't know. I don't think we were like that many turns ahead. This is awkward. With no black source. But we have the Rampers. Let them use the burn if they want to. With this hand, we want them just to bolt this. Alright, how many Druid of Cowl does it take to beat a red deck? Unfortunately, we don't get the block here. So what do we need? A black source or a Thrashing Brontodon? Both would be good. Alright, looks like we got this game. Against what is now our 4th red deck opponent in 6 games. Very fun. Very good for trying out new decks, for sure. Alright, so we got our black source, so it actually doesn't matter because we didn't play the Temple Garden turn 1. No, we're just dead. We're forced to make weird blocks now, and we lose our ramp. So then we have no good top decks. So 1 and 3 against red deck. Although with a little bit of luck, we could have been 3 and 1. That game, there was really nothing we could have done. Our draw was not good. That was just a mulligan, I guess. I'm wondering if what I would do with this deck, like if I was going to try to take it, make it more tuned for best of 1. It's probably, unfortunately, would be to cut the Rejuvenators, since they're just like so blah. Although I do kind of like they put the land to play permanently. And probably cut some of the maps. Then we would look to add some like spot removal. Alright, so let's ramp it up. Underrealm Lich does an okay job blocking a Danto Vanguard. They get to both do their ability. So I think we're just looking to ramp to Carnage Tyrant. Yeah. This card not so good against Conclave Tribunal. And it looks like that's what it's going to eat. Don't tribunal me, bro. Do not. Yeah. It's just the rule of white deck. They're just going to dump their entire hand and then get a free tribunal on you. I mean, this is honestly, like, look at how quickly we went from, like, winning the game next turn to losing the game. Now we take 5 damage, next turn we're dead. We don't have a draw here. Is Vivien a draw? I don't think Vivien's a draw. Man. Disappointing, because that felt like we were totally on pace to match them, and they just had it. So 4, 8, 11, 14. Yeah, we have to block and not use the Lich's ability. I mean, this deck just has so much do-nothing shit in it. Yeah, I think we have to cut the rejubes. We need more things, like, early. I get why there's only one Contempt, because it's hard to cast, but probably need, like, more settles. Imagine if we had a settle in our hand there, we'd actually be okay. If we're gonna go more settles... We have 4, 7, 9, 10, 17, 21, 22. So maybe we even add like a little more land. 23, 24. And add another Brontodon as something earlier we can play. Let's just try this, because we were only playing its aggro decks. Like, we need to make some small changes here. Settle seems like a really good place to be, though. I mean, it's not as good against the red decks, but against those white deck draws, if we had just had Settle there, we would have bought ourselves the turn we needed. Alright, just can't keep this. Add 2 lands to the deck, immediately get a 1 land hand. Guess we have to keep this. We do need a white source eventually, so it's unfortunate we have to keep that too. But hopefully the treasure map will be kind to us, and this is not a red deck opponent, and this will be our 5th or 6th red deck opponent now. Oh well, this is a bit of a blowout series, so apologies. Just playing the same deck over and over and over again, and getting more or less crushed by it. So yeah, well, that's a really good excuse to keep this one short. This is just kind of dumb watching us play the same thing over and over again. They're going to get in for, like, I'm sure they're going to pump this to 4 this turn, and they're just going to get in for so much damage. It's like this plus double Wizard's Lightning, probably, right? That would almost kill us if that was what they had. We go down 13 from the Wizard's Lightning, 4, 6, 8. Alright, no. That would have put us to 5. But as it stands now, we're basically dead. Because we don't have the second white source for Settle. We're not drawing live to anything, it feels like, on turn 3 of the game. Might as well get the free mana and the damage. It sucks that the treasure map is unplayable right now because I love this card. It's just, it is stone unplayable. Okay. Oh, so they actually did have the nuts. They just had a different version of it. This was their turn 3. This is something we can play this turn. Or we're just dead. There was no draw that we had that kept us from dying. Like, Brontodon doesn't do it. Or Brontodon, I guess, technically could do it, but it seems so unlikely. Alright, this will be the last one. Hopefully we get a win here. The Memory Lapse is not going to recommend this deck. I think any of the others you could reasonably play and probably get to Diamond with them if you were willing to put in the time and tune them a little bit, because they had like things that they were doing where you could reasonably win these matchups. This deck feels like it has nothing going for it. Despite the solid land base. No, we're gonna get screwed again. This is a promising hand where if we just draw, we need to draw land though. Hey, we got there. I was gonna play Vraska as a hedge against a Clarion. Something that we can be ticking up. They had the main deck negate. Yeah. Well, now we kind of have to do this because we're missing a second land drop. Or we're missing our first land drop. And now we play right into their Clarion. It's a bit of a bummer. Because we don't have a good punish now as a follow-up. Okay, they don't have it. They must have a counterspell though. But if they do, we want them to counter and we want to keep them off of drawing 2 with Chemistry's Insight. Because they're bound to only have so many. Right now, if they wrath us, we do have a potential punish if we draw a land playing the Vivien Reid, as long as they don't also have another negate. Alright, treasure map. Here's a matchup where treasure map might actually be good. It's almost a planeswalker. They get to draw 2. Should we go for Vraska here? I guess they're gonna have 3 mana available, huh? We do need this land, though. How awful is it to say when you have 2 ramp elves in play, you see a land on top, and you're like, yeah, we do really need this. Guess we want to activate the map. Yeah, so this is definitely why the deck has 3 Carnage Tyrants, because we're so slow that them matching us 1-for-1 on counter spells is quite good for them. Really nothing we can do about it, except hope that we draw Carnage Tyrant in this matchup. So this deck overall has a ton of problems. It doesn't have a good half of the deck to draw against the aggro decks, and it has a lot of bad deck to draw against the control decks. So definitely shows why we are having a hard time winning any of these matches. Though some of them have felt close. We are playing high enough power level cards in general that the matchups can feel close. But that's it. Yeah, alright, concede. They've countered every single one of our planeswalkers. Alright, that's it for this one. We fell 4 or 5 clicks because I had some time yesterday that I just like was playing with this deck again, a slight variation on this Primal Amulet deck, and I was winning pretty much everything that I played against, and not even close. So that might be a deck that we're going to grind with soon, because this deck was feeling really good. But yeah, that's it for this one. Easily the worst deck that we've played with in a while. It just has nothing going for it in best of 1. I don't doubt that you can make this work in best of 3. I mean, Adrian Sullivan's obviously like a very good player, like a very good deck designer. I doubt that he designed this deck with best of 1 in mind. I didn't see a sideboard posted for it though, so I'm not sure what the plan is. But geez, you are absolutely dead to the format game 1, it feels. So yeah, if you have the cards and you're not afraid to spew some rating, go ahead and give this a try, because it does do some... I mean, you get to play with cool cards like Underrealm Lich. You get to play with a lot of Planeswalkers. On Serra's Wings is fun. But be prepared for a lot of really, really frustrating games where you either don't draw your ramp and can't play anything, or draw all your ramp and don't get to play any powerful spells, or your opponent interacts with you in any way possible and you lose. So a lot of downside. A lot of downside here. But yeah, that's it for this. I hope you enjoyed cringing along with me as we dropped from Diamond 3 back down to Diamond 4. And we'll have to pick... Hopefully we'll pick something that's a little more competitive for Volume 5, which will come tomorrow. Then it'll be the last one in the series. I'm thinking maybe Merfolk. I'll show some for anyone who's still watching. This deck I'm ruling out. This deck has the exact same problem as the one that we just played. You're actually just not live at all to beat any of the aggressive decks. So as fun as this deck is, we're going to have the exact same problem where we're just going to play against decks that are beating us on turn 3, and we're not going to get to meme, and it won't be fun. I have this Jund deck. It looks like it has a lot of the same... Well, it looks like it's going to struggle against red, against... Chain Whirler in particular, which makes me hesitant to play it. But at least we're packing things like Chupacabra and Phoenix and cards that can actually like block in the matchup. So this is kind of an interesting one. Or maybe Merfolk. Maybe I put together a Merfolk list and we see what that looks like, and that would help us attack with 45 creatures for sure. Because Merfolk has explosive draws. There's also this Naya tokens list, but it's a little too close to... I feel like it's a little too close to green-white tokens. It's splashing red just for heroic reinforcements. And a Banefire. Maybe we could try that too. We'll have to decide. But anyways, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment if you're enjoying the content. Help me grow the channel. Follow the Twitch, twitch.tv/theMemoryLapse. That link is below as well. If you want to catch our stream over the weekend, Saturday the 12th, Sunday the 13th. Pushing for Mythic. I think we can do it. And that's it for today. We'll be back again soon with Volume 5. Later, everybody.